The first time, good morning. I'm extremely happy to welcome you here. We are very happy that you took time out of your schedule on Friday. And yeah, again, we really appreciate. So what we are going to do here, we invited you because we want to talk about an important project and important subject. So this conference is summarizing the project, which lasted 2 years and was funded from the European Union grant. And today we are going to have lots of people speaking about the project. So you will have a chance to see the big picture. We'll try to explain the context, but just to sum up, we are here because we know that the war is not a very peaceful place. And in this not peaceful place, we want to concentrate on peace. Yeah. So when you turn on the news, I did it in the morning, and there is lots of discussion about different wars and about politics. And there are the things which we cannot always control. But what we are going to do here, and also what we were doing in the project, is to concentrate on peace. And we hope that this conference will explain you at the beginning, why we concentrated on peace when there is wartime. And we'll have amazing guests who are going to take us through the project, like how it started, what was the aim of the project, what we did. We are going to talk about the lessons learned. And we really encourage you to stay till the end, because we'll have a little surprise for those staying till the end. So yes, and thank you for your patience. Let's start now. So I will start with talk of Agnieszka Lintowska. So Agnieszka is the director of this project, and she was responsible for the project not only in Poland, because this project is across countries. So she was responsible for the team in Poland, in Germany, in Lithuania, and we also have a team from Ukraine. So Agnieszka, the floor is yours, and thank you.
Welcome, everybody, and I am really glad that I can be here with you and have an opportunity to share our experiences and insights. And maybe I start with that. A friend of mine says we live in a very strange times. Indeed, there is probably no need to convince anyone that this is true. But it is a time when collective action and unity have become really, really important. We have approach. We are believe that this is the way. Yes, so we have a lot of challenges, of course, in that time. But of course, these challenges in times of conflict are not an abstract concepts. They are really real life experiences for so many people. Just a few days ago, I had a poignant reminder of this while driving with one of our Ukrainian project coordinator in Poland. And during the drive, she received a phone call informing her that there had been yet another shelling and a bombardment in the town where her elder mother lives. Her mother, like many others, refuses to leave her home despite the danger. So the moment my colleague received that call, the atmosphere in the car shifted. And so immediately tried to call her mother, but the phone went unanswered. So in this moment, in the car, of course, everything changed, and the emotions were really, really palpable. And, you know, I realized that in this kind of moment, the only what is important is the human connection. Yes, so I can feel very, very strong her anxiety rising when each failed attempt, of course, of her call. And the emotions in the car were palpable, like I said, fear, worry, helplessness, and hope, all mixed together. Yes, personal connection becomes crucial. It helps us navigate these fears with greater strength. And it's also, in this situation, it also was significant that both of us are familiar with and practice techniques that help us regain stability, even in a moment of the crisis. This makes an enormous difference in how we proceed and respond to these challenges, and allowing us to remain present and capable of providing support where it's needed the most. Many of you, of course, I am aware, may have had similar moments, whether through personal connections, professional roles. This experience stay with us, grounding us in the urgency and importance of our work which we do. But the work, of course, is not easy, and the situation, of course, is not easy for nobody. Yes, so addressing what is the challenge is the exhaustion. Yes, for both, for those who support, and for ourselves as service providers, of course, and for displacement people. Practical tools and techniques are essential to help individuals rebuild resilience and maintain stability. Our project focuses on strategies and methods that go beyond verbal reassurance to create a tangible sense of safety and also well-being. That approach empowers people to feel calmer, stronger, and better equipped to face ongoing challenges. Because creating spaces of acceptance, belonging, unity, and trust is crucial for helping communities recover and rebuild. But it's equally important to ensure that service providers feel their efforts and feel their efforts are impactful and appreciated. When both sides are supported, we create an environment where healing becomes possible. So eventually, everything we do comes down to the simple yet very profound idea of cultivating peace, starting within each of us. When we experience peace internally, we have the ability to foster peaceful communities around us. In the face of crisis and war, achieving this inner calm is not easy feat, of course. But as our approach has shown, it is possible. By equipping individuals and communities with practical solutions, we can alleviate the effects of trauma, enhance the effectiveness of aid and support, and find the way toward recovery and stability. I invite all of you to spend this time with us as we share our experiences in science and practical tools, ones that have already made a difference in many lives and that can help bring the peace of mind we also deeply need. Together, we can make a meaningful difference in the lives of those affected by conflict and in our own communities. So let's start. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agnieszka. Thank you for this initial talk and the speech, and thank you for encouraging us to be calm, because as you have already noticed, also like in the Zoom meeting with lots of people speaking and lots of people having different needs, it can be chaotic. But yeah, if we have this intention to be peaceful, I'm sure that we will succeed. So thank you, Agnieszka, again. And now I'm extremely honored to welcome Katrien. Katrien is the director of International Association of Human Values, and she's extremely experienced in peace programs. And she will talk us. She will have a short presentation where she will try to explain us what the global impact of this Peace of Mind and Strength of Heart program is. And so Katrien, the floor is yours. I think that I shouldn't speak more now. Thank you.
Dzień dobry, everybody. So it's a pleasure to be here with my colleagues from different countries, with our hosts, Art of Living Poland, Agnieszka and the team, with the representatives of the European Union, and with all of you. So I pre-recorded a little bit the explanation of our approach, because then we were able to put Polish subtitles, which makes it easier. So first I would like to explain a little bit about the approach that we apply around the world by the International Association for Human Values and the Art of Living Foundation. It's an evidence-based biopsychosocial approach for trauma relief, for resilience and empowerment. And what it means exactly, we will see in this short recording with the subtitles. And after that, I will explain a little bit more how we applied it in this specific project. So I would like to present a little bit more about the approach of the International Association for Human Values for trauma relief, resilience and empowerment. So it's an evidence-based biopsychosocial approach. And I've recorded this presentation in advance so that Polish subtitles can be provided. So IAHV is an international NGO based in Geneva, mostly a volunteer-based organization, and together with the Art of Living Foundation, present in currently 180 countries. The mission is to build a sustainable peace through the development of human values in individuals and societies. So we work all over the world in conflict and war zones. We have 40 years of experience together with the Art of Living Foundation. And to give you an idea about the context in which the approach is working, I would like to share a little bit more. Of course, we work on stress and trauma relief in different conflict and war zones around the world, as you can see. We also had a really big project in the Middle East for children affected by war, violence and trauma, also related to the war in Syria and the risk of radicalization amongst them. We also work on PTSD, specifically for war veterans in the United States who come from Iraq and Afghanistan. We have worked since 2004 in Iraq as well, especially on youth and women empowerment. We had specific programs to support the healthcare workers during the COVID pandemic. Of course, we are now currently working a lot to support people displaced from Ukraine and inside Ukraine as well. But we also work with those engaged in violence or armed conflict, with armed groups, with rebels, militants, and like we said, also with army personnel, with war veterans, etc. We work in prisons a lot, and we are also engaged in peace negotiations. So just to give you an idea about the wide variety of scope of application of IAHV's work around the world in conflict and war zones. So in the process, we have worked with different agencies and institutions, as you can see, different UN agencies, European agencies, development agencies, universities, and a wide range of NGOs, international NGOs have also participated in our professional and personal care program to support the people who are engaged in humanitarian and development and peace building work. So what is the methodology? We have a wide range of programs, but here I'm specifically focusing on the trauma relief work of IAHV. So it's a very comprehensive approach, dealing with the mental, physical, emotional, and deeper layers of our human existence. So it includes evidence-based breathing techniques, and they are scientifically researched. I will speak about them. Experiential processes, life skills, practical tools, interactive discussions. And we have different programs from half an hour to 10 days and training of trainers, etc. But what is very specific, I would say, about IHV's approach is the combination and the set of breathing techniques that are integrated into the programs. They're very profound, like I said, they're evidence-based and scientifically researched, and they actually allow people to feel peace physiologically. Because when there's a lot of stress and trauma in the system, as we know, it gets stored in the nervous system, in the physiology, and also in the functioning of the brain, the hormone system, and it's not easy to change that. Yeah? Through cognitive approaches, it's not easy because these functions are regulated by the autonomous nervous system. And so it says itself, it's autonomous. We cannot really influence this when trauma and lots of stress is accumulated in our system. But the breath is part of the autonomous nervous system, and that's why through the breath we can actually restore the stress response system and the physiology for peace, so that physiologically we are able to feel peaceful, while before the whole system may have been agitated. Yeah, so this means we can restore homeostasis. When the system is in the fight, flight, or freeze response, we can restore that gradually through the breath. We can reduce the heart rate, we can stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system so that we can feel calm. And we can strengthen the stress resilience. And also, when we cannot think, when there is a lot of stress and trauma, we can actually restore the capacity of the higher brain function, part of the brain to function, even when we are really under stress, when maybe otherwise more instinctive reactions would prevail. Yeah, so many advantages of integrating these breathing techniques in the program. And that is why, I mean, we ourselves as a team, the trainers and volunteers around the world, we have seen how effective it is. And so here are a few research evidences, like which are collected through more than 100 peer-reviewed international studies, which you can find on the website mentioned here on the left. So huge decrease in stress indicators, stress levels, immediately. Increase in the well-being hormone, and very interesting for depression and anxiety. There's a huge reduction in depression and anxiety regardless of the severity of the depression. Yeah? So mild, severe, chronic. If people practice these techniques for up to 3 months, like after 1 month, there's a reduction. After 3 months, it shows that the effect is the same as when people would take antidepressants. Yes, so around 70% of people actually can get out of the depressive state. So according to several studies, and same for anxiety. And this is also for people who have tried other approaches that maybe didn't work for them. So also improvement in sleep, improvement in immunity system, blood pressure, mental focus, also PTSD, very interesting studies have been done on the reduction of PTSD through these techniques. Emotional regulation, and there are even studies that show that through breathing practices we can positively influence the genetic expression, so that the positive genes are becoming more manifest and the negative ones are more subdued. So lots of research. And what we could say about, when millions of people are affected in this kind of crisis, man-made or natural disasters. It is not, feasible or not sufficient to work with psychologists or psychotherapists or give all people medicines, because the scale of the disasters are so huge that we don't manage, right? So one of the strengths of these programs is that they're really scalable. We can do them in big groups, and still they have very profound individual impact. So I think this is one of the things that are much needed in the world today. Like I said, the techniques are evidence-based, the improvement in physiological and psychological indicators. They're also effective, like they start working immediately, actually, we have experienced. So it's not that you need to practice long time before it works. It's holistic, taking care of the different levels in us, from the cognitive, physical, emotional levels to deeper levels as well. And it's easy accessible. So it's not difficult to learn, it's not difficult to use. And we do not advertise our programs as mental health programs or trauma relief necessarily. For example, our main programs for Ukrainians are called Healing, Resilience, and Empowerment. So we make it accessible so that it's also free from stigmatization and people feel that they can enroll in it. Cost effective, definitely, compared to other costs for mental health professionals or the healthcare system. Inclusive, we work with across all cultures, ages, social backgrounds, gender, etc. And it's self-empowering. So people learn techniques they can continue to practice to improve and maintain their own well-being, so that no long-term dependency is created. And we see it as complementary with other approaches. With other partner organizations, we can take care of a deep psychosocial, healthy, strong foundation in people in communities, on which other organizations can also, strengthen their activities. And there are no reported negative side effects of doing these techniques. Okay, so this was the brief overview of our approach, and now I would show a little bit how we applied it for people from Ukraine who got displaced through the war, and then maybe if you have some questions, we can maybe briefly also address. So when the war in Ukraine started in February 2022, our teams immediately got into action, and both inside Ukraine as well as for people who are displaced. So the updated numbers will be shared later, but a lot of work has been done inside Ukraine. And then when we, after a few months of activities, we got the opportunity to apply for the grant of the European Union of HDEA, and then we were able to scale up our activities also for people who were displaced in Europe. So Ukrainians have been joining our workshops from around 20 countries or more, wherever they found themselves, because we also had online workshops. And one of the main responses is that their sleep got restored. Finally, they could sleep again. Finally, they felt they were somebody, because so many had lost their sense of identity, who they are. And finally, they felt hope again to continue living and to even think about something more positive for the future. So impact has been very, very, very meaningful for most of them. So the project itself had 4 objectives. First of all, of course, supporting people from Ukraine directly. And then, as Agnieszka was sharing, so people from Ukraine means both adults and children. Then we also supported the service providers and the mental health professionals. We also focused on training additional capacity. So we trained people from Ukraine to become trainers of the workshops that we provided. And we were also focused on raising more awareness about this kind of approach, so it can be integrated more long-term in different sectors, such as education or health, also in a preventative way. To give you an idea what kind of activities we did in the project, we had 6 different main activities. The first is the Healing, Resilience, Empowerment workshop, which really reached thousands of people from Ukraine. And this is very accessible, low threshold, everybody can enroll, and it's usually conducted over 1.5 hours in 3 days. And this is kind of the first aid psychosocial support and strengthening of people to really reduce the most acute stress, fears, and anxiety. And then the next level for people who feel, they like this approach, it works for them, and who want to go deeper, there is the next level program, which is more intense and also deeper in terms of trauma relief. It has the Sudarshan Kriya breathing technique on which the research was done, which we presented earlier. Then we also have similar programs for children from age 7 to 18, which we conducted, and then the specific programs for the mental health providers, the training of trainers, which is combined 7 days plus a supervision period, and online and offline follow-up sessions, which were conducted in different places, as well as very regularly online. So I think more research will be presented later by one of the colleagues. But this was like the research of the first level workshop, the very basic, accessible, scalable workshop, Healing, Resilience and Empowerment. And you can see that up to 85, 90, 95% of the participants indicated strong improvements in their stress levels, their sleep quality, energy level, irritation, anger, anxiety, sadness, and clarity of mind. The initial evaluation of the next level program, the more deep trauma relief, also indicated significant reductions in depression, stress, PTSD, and anxiety as measured by the internationally validated questionnaires of SPRINT and DAS. So also the qualitative responses were very high. 98% of the participants found the workshops helpful or very helpful. 99% would recommend it, and 97% intended to practice the exercises. So in the work that we did, we also established a lot of partnerships in the different countries. In Lithuania, for example, we worked very intensely with the Red Cross of Lithuania and the International Organization for Migration, with whom we co-organized weekly and bi-weekly workshops. And then highlight also in Poland was definitely the outreach to thousands of children from Ukraine. Some were living in Poland, some came from Ukraine for a break. We conducted the workshops in schools, Ukrainian schools, mixed schools, but also in the Art of Living Center in Poland, in Taraska, where hundreds of children came for a few days and were able to let go of a lot of accumulated stresses. So through the work with the children, also the parents and the teachers got to know, and then so it gradually spread more and more among the Ukrainian community. And one of the most powerful aspects of the project, I think we all feel, is that people from Ukraine who were really living through trauma, loss, displacement, despair, they started participating in our workshops. They benefited so much themselves, they continued, and they really, knowing the strength of it, they were very motivated to start spreading it to more people. So from being a participant, they actually became trainers. So we trained around 40 women through a specific training of trainer process. And many of them have started being active. They're conducting workshops where they find themselves, and also when they travel to Ukraine, they also conduct it there. And that is very, very inspiring, and it also gives them a very strong sense of meaning, of purposefulness, which also helps themselves a lot. So then specifically also for the service providers, I think we will hear a little bit more, but we have faced a lot of need among also teachers in the Ukrainian schools, among mental health professionals, service providers, volunteers, especially after 2 years, 3 years of war. Huge need to address burnout, and there may be a lot of knowledge on stress and a lot of theories how to reduce stress, but very rarely do we actually learn practical techniques that have an immediate effect to reduce the stress level, to bring back the energy, to bring back clarity of mind, and to enable us to continue working. So one of the trainings we did was for UNHCR in Poland in the beginning of the war, for 15 of its protection monitors, and they really needed it at the time already, and it helped them a lot to continue working. They were all very satisfied and supported. So I think I will stop here, and I don't know if there's any time for questions or not, or maybe later in the program.
So we'll have time for questions at the end. However, if anyone wants to ask a question, please write it in the chat. It will be easier because we have more than 100 people, so it makes that a bit chaotic with asking with unmuted mics. Thank you so much, Katrien. And maybe I will share a little bit from my experience, because what Katrien mentioned, those techniques, they're evidence-based. So I think that it's important to underline this, because nowadays we can Google lots of things, and just typing reducing stress, trauma, you will have lots of different information, sometimes very confusing information. So I think that what is really important about this project and the approach, that it is evidence-based. So what Katrien mentioned, PTSD and research on PTSD, the breadth, there is polyvagal theory, and there are lots of different research papers which were used to construct this approach. And also there is a lot of research already on this technique, which Katrien also mentioned, which was taught in the PC programs. So I also wanted to underline that there were so many people involved in the project. So it started 2 years ago, and as you can imagine, things change. So 2 years ago, the situation was different than now. And also 2 years ago, the people who started, they also, changed during the project, and lots of people joined. And I think that this is also amazing about this project, because we learned on the way. And for example, I myself joined during the project, not that long ago. And I started with helping with organizing the HRE workshops. So HRE is Healing, Resilience and Empowerment. And then I also translated Katrien's course, which was the PC course. And I myself practiced Sudarshan Kriya. So I think that we have, those living examples that those technique works. And when I was translating the courses, I could also see, the faces of people who started the trainings, and the same faces which were not the same at the end of the workshops. So I just wanted to share this, because I think that it's important to see yourself and also to experience yourself, because yeah, there is lots of information, and you can have, you know, like people can convince you and try to convince you, but when you experience, you know, like nobody can tell you that, you know, it's not true, because it's your experience. So thank you again, Katrien. And if there are any questions, please type them, and we will address the questions at the end. So now we will move on to a panel, and we will have opportunity to ask questions. So if you type some of the questions, I may be able to like guide the discussion so that you will be able to get the answer to your question. If not, we'll definitely address the questions at the end, and we'll also send an email after the conference. So if there is like anything which hasn't been answered here, please feel free to contact us. You can email us here, or we also had the campaign on LinkedIn and Facebook. So if you just like, you know, like put the name of the project, you will be able to find the contact details, okay? So now we'll move on to discussion, and we'll talk about the key project achievements. We hope that during this, this panel, you will be able to learn how the project impacted thousands of people in different countries. So as we have already mentioned at the very beginning, the project was not only for, like, as you can imagine, like the war doesn't know the borders. So even though it's the war between Ukraine and Russia, it's not only between, you know, like between those countries. So the project impacted people in different countries, in Ukraine, in Poland, in Lithuania, in Germany. So hopefully you will be able to have the taste of what, you know, like what happened, and learn from the experience of people. So can we start with Agnieszka again? So Agnieszka, could you tell us a bit more, like just give us a bit of a context of like what countries were involved in the project, like people from what countries, like, and maybe a little bit of your own experience, because like obviously it's important to know the theory and everything, but I think that when it comes to lives of people like touched by the project, I think that this is the most important. So could you share a bit of that big picture, and then we will try to guide the discussion into experiences of people.
Yes, of course. As Katrien mentioned, of course, our project was conducted in 4 countries: Lithuania, Poland, Germany, and Belgium. In Belgium, we have a references center. So Katrien is from Belgium, and she is guiding us. I would like to maybe, because here we have our colleague from Lithuania, so Svietlana will be here, because of course she's Ukrainian, but she is a trainer, HRE, and herself, and also Olga Gorbachova, who lives in Germany now, and she's also our new trainer. So not only me will be speaking for a moment about that, but also those beautiful women. So amazing women, really. So maybe I would like to share about a little bit what we were doing in Poland, and what was the most accomplishment. And you know, the first what comes to my mind, there are amazing camps for children in our center in Poland, and you know, the pictures are more important than words. So I would like to ask our tech Monica to share with you a very, very short video about the camps. Thank you. So, you know, it is good to know that many of assistants of this on these camps, they are Ukrainians. Yes, so not only Polish trainers were there, but also Ukrainians. So it is really important for us. Also, the work with children in schools, in Polish schools, where Ukrainian children are, is really important for us. We could establish the cooperations with municipality, especially in Wrocław. They are very supportive for us, and we were working in this project in more than 1,000 children, Ukrainian children in Polish schools in Wrocław directly. So I am also a trainer for children, not for adults too, but I prefer to be a children trainer because I love a fun from time to time, of course. And it is really heart-touched moments when you can see the little boy whose eyes are empty in the beginning of the workshops, and then step by step something shift. Yes, and in the end, eventually, he smiling a little bit, and then he drew a beautiful picture. Yes, so we met him a few times after that, and this. For sure I will not lose this picture to the end of my life, for sure. And those kind of experience we have yes a lot. So of course we in the beginning it was not so easy for us, but this cooperation with municipality was very crucial for us. Yes, and of course not only in schools we are working, but also our trainers in different cities, because we have a different cities when we have activities. Work with adults, especially in Krakow, the mixed activities in Bydgoszcz, also in Warsaw, in Łódź, in Gdańsk. So not every country in Poland, but in many. So this experience are really touched. So maybe I stop here because I can, of course, say many words about that as a trainer and as a part of the project, but I would like to invite the Svietlana and Olga to share what is going on in the country where they live. So I don't know if Svietlana is, but I see Olga. So
yeah. So maybe we'll start with Olga. Olga,
okay.
Can we ask you to talk a bit about your experience? So Olga, you may introduce yourself. However, I just wanted to say that you are a certified auditor, yes, and you worked in Kiev before. and now you live in Germany. Yes, so can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, please? And thank you for being here. Thank you.
I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really proud to be a part of so wonderful project. I have been involved in working both online and offline teams. And in Germany, Mechthild Brosch and Heidi Gutschmidt, we started conducting workshops in Rosenheim a few months after the war began in 2022. Later, the seminars took place in other towns, also such as Regensburg, Traunreut, and including one of the biggest cities in Germany, Munich. The very first session that I learned from this initiative is that it was important to work with people who had felt the war and arrived to the refugee initial reception center. These people were extremely vulnerable as they experienced stress and anxiety due to drastic changes in their lives and being forced to leave their homes. For example, in our region, a group of teachers led by Mechthild Brosch worked in such center in Munich. We received a lot of positive feedback from the people located there. The faces, adults and children became more alive and radiant after these workshops, and they shared that they had not experienced such calmness in a long time. One of the participants, a woman from Lugansk region, a territory occupied before 2022, said that the practices taught at the sessions helped her improve her quality of life, and she was able to smile again and regained her confidence. The second lesson for me, it was that our workshop also helped people cope with another kind of stress. After the initial acute stress of war and relocation, people faced with another stress of adapting to a different cultural, linguistic environment, and along with the challenges of professional integration. And this adaptation process was further complicated by the uncertain legal status of refugees in Germany. For example, my family has only expired documents valid until April 2024, and we, like many other people in our region, have not been issued new ones. And experiencing long-term stress, many people, they suffered from chronic sleep disturbances, poor concentration, emotional swings, and depression. And the vast majority of participants reported that improved their sleep after attending our workshops. One participant who had been taking sleeping pills for about 1 year, but still struggled with a shallow and poor quality sleep, she shared that after just 3 days of the first workshop, she was sleeping like a baby and was absolutely delighted with the result. And overall, people were extremely pleased with the results. Some participants were even surprised by the extent of the positive changes in their lives brought about by such simple technicals at this workshop. And so it was a really amazing experience in my life. Thank you very much for all in this project.
Olga, thank you so much. And I just wanted to highlight that Olga was supposed to speak in Russian, but she spoke beautifully in English. So thank you so much. And thank you for being part of the project. Yes, you're a beautiful person. Thank you. And now we'll have, I hope that we'll have Svietlana.
Mm-hmm. Всем здравствуйте. Я извиняюсь, я не говорю так хорошо ни на польском, ни на английском. Буду рассказывать на русском языке.
Okay, but you have to speak slowly.
Hello, my name is Svietlana. I don't speak very good English or Polish, so I will speak Russian.
Thank you.
Мгм. Я приехала в Литву почти 2,5 года назад, когда началась война в Украине. Приехала с 3 детьми. И хочу поделиться своим опытом участия в этих программах.
So I came to Lithuania 2.5 years ago with 3 of my children. And I would like to share my experience in participating in these programs.
Первую программу я прошла в 2022 году в сентябре.
First program I was in the September of 22.
И уже тогда я поняла, насколько это ценный опыт для нас, людей, которые приехали с другой страны и находились в большом стрессе в другой стране, то есть в Вильнюсе, в Литве.
So this was the moment when I realized how important and valuable this experience is for us, for the people that came from the other country.
Я осознала, как все эти техники, которые нас учили на этих семинарах, влияют на наше здоровье и на наш ум.
So I felt how those techniques that we were taught influence our health and our mental abilities.
Да, в Литве, в Вильнюсе прошло очень много людей, моих друзей, знакомых, такие программы, и я всем их рекомендовала, потому что они действительно имеют большое влияние на нас.
Lots of my friends and acquaintances participated in these programs in Vilnius. I recommended it to all of them because I knew how important can they be.
Потом я прошла вторую программу, и у меня появилась возможность стать инструктором данной программы, и мы поехали в Тараску.
Then I finished the second program. I was given the opportunity to become an instructor, and we all went to Taraska.
И прошли обучение, и прошли обучение данной программы.
And we were taught how to learn this, how to be instructor in this program.
И начались после этих программ начала активно практиковать, приглашать людей в Вильнюсе, украинцев, которые также приехали с Украины и имели большой стресс.
So after finishing this program in Vilnius, in Lithuania, I started to invite my friends and other people from Ukraine that came to Lithuania to participate in this program.
Я с радостью делилась с ними своими знаниями и ощущениями, и видела, как после этих практик меняется их жизнь.
I was excited to share with them my knowledge and experience, and was happy to see how the life is changing on my eyes.
Я до сих пор с большинством этих женщин общаюсь, мы поддерживаем отношения, также практикуем, занимаемся.
Till that moment, I'm still in touch with those women. We practice together, we share our own experiences.
Также хотела поделиться опытом проведения этих практик с детьми, потому что все лето я была в детских лагерях, в которых участвовали дети с Украины и украинские дети, которые находятся сейчас в Литве.
So I would like also to share my experience in working with children, because I was during summer I was in the children's camp for the Ukrainian children and for the children from Ukraine that are currently living in Lithuania.
Мы наблюдали за эти 3 дня, которые проходили семинары, как меняются их глаза, как дети с нами делились, что у них появилось больше внимания, больше концентрации, они стали хорошо и лучше спать.
So we were participating in seminars, and children gave the feedback that so many things has changed. For example, the attitude, the ability to being focused.
Ну и также, конечно, очень много украинских детей, которые находятся в Вильнюсе, получили возможность пройти эти семинары. И я считаю, что я очень благодарна, что есть такая программа, потому что я считаю, что нашим детям как никогда нужна опора, нужно внимание и, 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 и любовь.
So many children in Lithuania from Ukraine were able to finish this program, and I'm so grateful for that because I really feel that those children need our love, support, and understanding.
Спасибо. Кто так
Thank you.
поделился.
Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share my experience.
Thank you. We also thank you for being here and sharing your experience and doing so much for the project and for all those people who needed support. So thanks a lot. And now I would like to have Katrien once again, just for one question, because we are running out of time, maybe not running out of time, but we want to be on time. So I'm looking at my watch. So I wanted to ask this question about PC programs, because Katrien already mentioned that in the project we focused not only on people with experience of war in terms of the refugees, but also on people who supported refugees. And I wanted to ask Katrien, like, why was it so important in the project, and why is it important to focus on people who help, not only on the refugees?
Well, yes, I just see that we also have here Natalya Kozyr. She will share her experience, and I think it will become very clear why it is very important. There, so many people who give their best, to support other people, like really from a good space with lots of energy and willingness to help others. But before we know, it kind of really exhausts our system. So, and it's so important that these people are able to continue supporting, because they are a lifeline for other people. And if they cannot cope, if they break down, then, all the people they are supporting are also affected. So it's extremely important to support those who are supporting. But I would give the floor to Natalya herself to share, because she's a very inspiring example of selfless service. She was telling us, sharing with us, she works 16 hours per day to help everybody she can. But there's a limit to the human capacity.
Я сейчас в Украине живу, работаю, учусь, то есть с семьей налаживаю отношения, то есть всю свою жизнь налаживаю. Чтобы до этого прийти без антидепрессантов и без медикаментов, я очень благодарна этому проекту, в который я попала. Я психотерапевт, у меня больше 30 лет. Да.
We would have somebody to translate.
Так, медленнее говорить.
Наталья, кто-то будет переводить после тебя на английский, да? Так что с перерывами надо.
Хорошо. Да, хорошо. Мне важно начать сначала.
Translator disappeared. Katrien, apologies. Any chance you can translate into English, because you know Russian? Can you translate for us? Apologies.
Okay.
Something happened with the translator.
So Natalya was sharing that she's organizing her life in Ukraine right now with the job and the family and everything, and that she managed to do that without antidepressants and without medicine. And she's very, very grateful for the project. And she's a psychotherapist with 30 years of experience.
Да, я психотерапевт, у меня 30 лет опыта и 6 психологических образований. Я понимаю, как устроена психика человека.
With 30 years of experience and 6 degrees in psychology and psychotherapy, she understands very well how the human mind is working.
Раньше я справлялась и учила своих клиентов со стрессом это бег, йога, плавание, ну, спорт.
Это ты занималась, да?
Да.
So before I used to cope with the work with my clients by running, by yoga and swimming.
Этому же я учила, этой же сублимации выхода из стресса я учила и клиентов.
So I learned how to get out of stress, and I also taught it to my clients.
Когда началась война, я уехала в Вильнюс.
When the war started, I moved to Vilnius.
Там я работала с детьми из Украины, из Польши, забыла как это.
So she worked with children from Ukraine and Poland and others.
У меня человек переживает одну депрессию сложно или две потери, утраты, а у меня их было 11.
So generally, it's very difficult for a person to cope with one or two losses or with depression, but I had 11 of those.
Это потеря страны, потеря работы, потеря семьи, переезд, незнание языка, их 11.
So it's losing your country, it's losing your family, it's losing your job, ending up somewhere where you don't know the language, etc.
Потеря будущего, потому что мы не знали, как будет и что будет.
Losing the future because you don't know what's going to happen.
И когда уже перестали помогать бег, плавание, йога, то я начала искать что-то другое.
So the running, the yoga and swimming didn't help anymore, so I needed to look for something else.
Каждый клиент отражался на моем теле как будто маленькими черными точечками.
Every client started to affect my body as if there were more and more black spots inside myself.
Массаж тоже не помогал.
Massage also stopped working.
И ко мне пришла клиентов, обычно у психотерапевта важно, чтобы было 24 человека. У меня было 168, когда началась война.
So normally it's good for a psychotherapist to have 24 clients, but I had 168 when the war started.
Это работа 14-15 часов в сутки.
It's like working 15 hours per day.
И приходилось справляться и с этим тоже, с таким стрессом тоже, со своим стрессом и со стрессом клиента.
So I had to cope with my own stress and with the stress of all the clients.
И через клиентов я узнала об этой программе «Сила, стойкость и дух».
And it was through one of my clients that I heard about the Peace of Mind project and the workshops.
Я ни в коем случае не опровергаю работу психотерапевтов под антидепрессантами, но для меня это неприемлемо, потому что это для меня как петь под фонограмму, то есть важно чувствовать себя.
So I do not discuss the use of antidepressants, but for me personally, it doesn't work because I really want to feel myself.
И поэтому я искала другое средство, чтобы помочь себе выйти из тех состояний, которые у меня были, без медикаментов.
And therefore I was looking for another methodology so I could come out of the stress I found myself in without medicine.
И я нашла дыхательные практики. На первой ступени было очень не то, что неприятно, непонятно.
Тебе было непонятно?
Да, мне было непонятно вообще, что я просто верила, что мне поможет, но хотелось помочь, но мне было ничего не понятно. Я просто там была, на первой ступени.
So I started the breathing exercises, and the first workshop I was just there in the hope it would help me, but I couldn't understand much.
На вторую ступень я уже пришла осознанно, и мне было очень больно по телу. После дыхательных упражнений, практик у меня болело тело.
By the time I went to the second level, I was already much more aware and awake, and I felt how all the techniques were really bringing out a lot of pain in my body.
Но я поверила своему тренеру Jurate, что она сказала, придет, это важно дождаться вот этого освобождения, но важно выдержать эту боль, потому что боль такая была, как будто меня палками били, очень сильная боль.
It was very, very strong pain, as if someone was beating me with sticks, but I trusted the trainer Jurate, who said, you just have to continue and it will pass, you have to go through this.
И боль прошла на второй ступени. И потом на третьей ступени я поехала в Антагас, и там уже прошла вот эту вот практику, семинар или ретрит молчания.
So the pain passed after the second program, and I went to the third level in Germany, in Bad Antagast, which was a combination with silence.
На практиках в Антагазе у меня текли слезы просто так, и тоже болело тело, и болели очень руки, как будто я за что-то держусь.
My body again started to have a lot of pain, and there were so many tears flowing out.
Потом пришло время от того, что важно было сказать первое слово после молчания. И мое слово было «отпусти», но я не смогла его сказать, я потом уже его сказала позже всех.
So after a period of silence, which is part of the program, you need to again say your first word, and the word that came up in me was let go, but I couldn't speak it then, I said it later.
Когда я поняла, что мне важно отпустить всю боль, которая во мне, моя жизнь стала налаживаться.
When I understood that I needed to let go of all the pain that's in me, I really, my life started to get back in order.
Практиками я уже занимаюсь год и 3 месяца, каждый день, дыхательными.
I practice these breathing techniques now every day for 1 year and 3 months.
Раньше я это делала из сильной боли и невозможности дальше жить без дыхательной практики каждый день.
Можешь повторить?
Раньше я делала дыхательные практики, потому что надеялась, была уверена, что без них я не выживу.
In the beginning I did the breathing techniques because I was convinced if I don't do them, I cannot live, I cannot continue living.
Ну вот уже 2 месяца я делаю практику просто из наслаждения.
But the last 2 months I'm doing these techniques because I really enjoy it.
Да. Правда. И еще после практики я задаю подсознанию своему вопросы, и в медитации я всегда нахожу в них ответы.
And I also find the answers that I'm looking for in the relaxation after the breathing techniques and the meditation.
То есть я совместила свои психологические знания, знания психологии с дыхательными практиками и со спортом.
So now I combine my knowledge as a psychotherapist with the breathing techniques and sport.
Из тревоги, то, что я понимаю сейчас из своих клиентов, из своего личного опыта, то, что мы живем, что у нас война, из тревоги это единственный способ, это дыхательные практики, то, что я понимаю на данный момент.
And I understand now with everything that's going on in the war that's going on with myself and with the clients I'm working with, that these breathing techniques is the only thing that works.
Да. Для меня это стало выходом из моей ситуации.
Exit from the situation I was in.
Потому что есть такие моменты в жизни, когда никто тебе не может помочь.
Because there are moments in life when nobody can help you.
Только ты сам.
Only yourself. Thank you for sharing, Natalya. Спасибо, что делилась с нами. Очень личный опыт.
У меня аж голос дрожал еще, потому что еще переживаю я утраты, но уже проще.
She's
Так
still,
что
still feeling the experiences, but it's already better now.
Thank you so much, Fatima. I could also feel when you were talking, and just by talking, I had a goosebumps. So I can imagine that, you know, just like talking about this can be challenging. But thank you for giving us this opportunity to hear what you have experienced. And now I would like to move on to maybe change a little bit because yeah, the personal experiences make us lose breath. So it's good to catch up some breath. And I would like Rainer to present his talk. So it will be on statistics and impacts of the project. So Rainer Lang is from International Association of Human Values Germany, and he will present how the project has affected communities in Poland, Germany, Belgium, and Lithuania, and why he's the guy who is going to talk about statistics, because he has lots of experience in management of medium size and large size international and intercultural IT projects, and lots of experience in communication across the country. So yeah, I just give the floor to him, and thank you.
So just have to to cope with the presentation, which my Zoom is again hiding from me. Okay. Maybe I just share the main screen and that should be it.
Yes. And don't worry, like the technology is not always supporting us, but we know how to deal with technology.
Yep.
So yeah.
So this you have already seen before, so let's just go there. So these are our 5 partners, 2 from Poland and so on. But I want to put your attention on this here. Like 1 week ago these are the recent numbers of how many Ukrainians were officially registered in the different countries in the European Union as refugees. And put a red frame around the countries in where our project was mainly active. As a whole, altogether, it's about 4 million people. But obviously Germany, and when we look here, Germany has 1.2 million. Poland has, Poland has almost 1 million. And Lithuania has about 50,000. So when we look here, then we see how many people we have directly reached by our trainings in the different countries. So what is important? Why did I show these numbers, especially the numbers of the refugees? Why did we do that project? Or let's put it the other way around. Why did the European Union, the Commission, and the HDR decide to support and co-sponsor our project? Just imagine 1% of these people, of these refugees, would look for professional psychological support. In all the 3 countries, the health systems would simply collapse. It's impossible to deal with so many people. Now we are talking about refugees. We are not even talking about other people, because the other statistics also show that mental health is an issue also in the European Union, in every country of the European Union. It's not so obvious because there is a stigmatization on that. Nobody wants to say I'm crazy, because that's how people usually take it. It's not like in the United States, where even a dog can have a psychologist and it's not a problem. So it's very different. Just to have this perspective and see how important it is to have an approach which does not depend on institutions which are completely under-resourced. So, but let us see here. Oops, sorry. My mouse is faster than it's supposed to be. We had different target groups, obviously. We had general population, meaning adults. We had kids and teens, okay, and later on we just summarized that as young adults. And we also had professional care people, PC. So as for the whole project, you can see at the left-hand side, you see the trainings that we were doing. And on the right-hand side, you see the trainees, the people who went through the program. In the very start, there's a lot of lessons learned which we had going through that whole thing. Also seeing how what we had learned earlier in other countries, like Lebanon, Jordan, and so on, how much of this expectation could be transferred to the countries of the European Union or not. And there's one thing now, let's just see here. When you look at the country with the most refugees, you see that in the trainings and in the participants, there were many places where these trainings were conducted. You do the same thing in Poland. You see there are less. And you go to Lithuania, it's even less places, but compared to the whole numbers. When you look at the same thing, it's the structure or the target groups. When you see that going back to Germany, oops, sorry. You see that most people that were reached were adults. In Poland, it was like 50-50. In Lithuania, it was like, oops, this is very well visible here. In Lithuania, it was a lot of many more children reached. Now, we can also see there are a lot of differences. They come from many things. They come from the organization, how the refugees, how the whole system, refugees coming into a country, how they are administratively handled. Lithuania and Poland more centralized, Germany very much decentralized. Also, the very fact that when we applied for the project, that was in May, and when the project started, which was in December 22, the peak of refugees had already been crossed. Meaning, many have already been spread over the country, which in Germany was, of course, a much bigger deal. In a decentralized situation, you could no longer go to camps where they first come before they get on. They were already gone, so you had to find them. So many such things one can see from these numbers. And this is a little show to see how over the whole time, for the whole project, these numbers developed. Now everything together, kids and adults, and also the service providers, professional care. You can just see the fluctuations here. And I know people. So at the end of the day, what we did was that in the project, we reached our goal, at least in many senses. I mean, in terms of numbers, there was originally planned a number which had then to be revised, because you cannot compare Lebanon and Jordan with refugee camps to a situation in the European Union, on the one hand. And it also showed that the country with the smallest planned amount, Lithuania, managed to get many, many more, because they got it due to the centralized organization, plus getting direct contact to the Ukrainian refugees through organizations where they are also centralized. Many more people could come to the trainings. So during the project, we also had to shift then our activities and see, okay, to see that, okay, Germany cannot bring it up that much for many reasons, but Lithuania can, okay, let's move that. So it was like a moving target in a way. But at the end of the day, we finally managed to reach the number. But to reach the number is one thing. The other thing, which doesn't come out from the numbers, is that we can also show from the experiences which you have seen and heard before, that there is a methodology, a method by which this trauma relief and all this impact on mental health can be reached. This is much more important whether we reach 5,000 or 7,000. This is one thing, but this is only a first step. That whole thing has to continue one way or the other, be it that it is in Ukraine itself or in other places which are war or catastrophe affected, or even in the European Union by starting to adopt such techniques into the health system. So for the benefit of everyone. This, of course, doesn't come out of the numbers. So I know many people hate tables, but somehow the numbers also have to be collected, have to be seen with everything. So here, just in the bottom line, one can see that due to the high performance of our Lithuanian partners and friends, we could compensate what was sort of missing from the plan in the German part, and our Polish friends did more or less reach the originally planned goal. Yep. So that's where we stand. 6,500 was the revised goal. 6,515 is what we have recorded by all type of administrative performances like participant lists and so on and so on. So also from a, let's say, statistical point of view, we consider this project as a big success. And that's where I want to stop the share and hand over back to our session coordinator. Iwona,
thank you so much, Rainer. And you mentioned that some people don't like tables, and I think that tables are also very important. Because of those tables and statistics, we are able to see if we are on track or not. So obviously there are people behind the numbers and the tables, but it's very important that there is somebody who understands numbers and tables. So thank you, Rainer. Now I would like to move on to more personal stories, and we will show you a short movie, a short video, and hopefully it will give you the taste of what was going on. So we are now coming back to personal stories. So watch this, please.
На душе очень хорошо.
It feels good. Everything is brighter. I look at everything with pleasure.
У нас психолог международной организации.
We have a psychologist from the International Organization for Migration. He told us, I've been working with these people for 6 months to relieve their anxiety. You do this in 3 days. It's a wow effect. I relaxed and finally felt at home. It's simple, but it's so powerful. And that's the power of it.
The International Association for Human Values and the Art of Living Foundation are specialized in strengthening the mental health and well-being of people who are affected by conflict, war, displacement, loss, trauma. Since 45 years, they have supported hundreds of thousands of people in 180 countries.
With the ongoing war in Ukraine, the World Health Organization estimates that 15 million people inside Ukraine are in need of psychosocial support. But in fact, everybody needs support.
I've had that happen to me. I wanted to die and nothing made me happy anymore.
IAHV's Peace of Mind and Strength of Heart project is a scalable, evidence-based approach to strengthen the mental health and psychological well-being of people from Ukraine. Over 2 years, people received practical tools to relieve stress, improve sleep, calm the mind, and increase energy levels, leading to improved coping skills and a more positive outlook on life.
Yesterday, after my first session, was the first time I fell asleep peacefully without watching a film. I just laid down on my pillow and fell asleep. All these practices, as a source of energy, a source of strength, a source of inspiration, give me a push forward.
The Healing Resilience Empowerment workshops are very short, very effective workshops that give people the tools and the techniques to support and maintain their own well-being, so they do not become dependent on psychologists or medicines. Scientific research has shown that the approach is very effective in reducing depression, trauma, anxiety, and stress. After the intervention, post-traumatic stress was reduced by 42%. Participants reported the following changes: 92% improvement in stress management, 78% in sleep quality, 80% reduction in anxiety, and 73% in sadness.
98% of the program beneficiaries report an improvement in their well-being.
The holistic method offered by the Peace of Mind project includes evidence-based breathing techniques, physical exercises, cognitive processes, relaxation, games, life skills, and interactive discussions.
The approach is very accessible. People can enroll easily. It has an immediate effect. There's no stigma related to it, and it's also culturally appropriate.
When people come to your course, they really change. Even if they come to one meeting,
emerging from the traumas of war and displacement through their own journey of healing, resilience, and empowerment, 40 Ukrainian women have become trainers of IAHV's workshops themselves. Inspired by the positive effects on themselves, they have been empowered with well-being, confidence, and skills to pass on these techniques to others in need in and outside Ukraine.
I feel that I have more strength. I now know how to help others in a way that doesn't harm myself and is as useful to this world as possible. Now we can pass this knowledge on to others. This joy, this lightness of life can be brought back, despite all the stresses and horrors of war.
The Peace of Mind project has also strengthened the psychosocial well-being and performance capacity of hundreds of service providers and mental health professionals, many of whom needed support to be able to continue supporting others.
I had a pretty tough experience at the beginning of the war myself. I was in a difficult and complicated state, and when I got to the seminars for the first time, I saw results so quickly that I was incredibly inspired.
It is impossible to cope with trauma without working with the body and the breath.
Thousands of children from Ukraine have gone through our workshops, either, for example, in camps that were organized by partner organizations, but also across a lot of schools, Ukrainian schools, which were established outside Ukraine, but also mixed schools, like Polish schools with Ukrainian children.
We practice like this.
I feel great. IAHV's approach is now successfully implemented in cooperation with IOM, Red Cross, Vilnius University, Ukrainian schools in Lithuania and Poland, local authorities and others.
Towards the future, we hope that it will spread further and that it can benefit even more people, that also it could be integrated in the systems of education, in schools, in the health system, and in different sectors of society in a preventative way.
I would like this project to continue to exist, not only for Ukrainians, but for all people who need it.
Uprooted from their lives, families, and places, people from Ukraine expressed how important it has been for them to not feel alone. The Peace of Mind project has created a sense of community, connection, and mutual support that continues to thrive beyond the project's official timeline.
Thank you very much. May God give you all health and happiness, and never let war come to your home. Never.
Now we will carry on with more people involved in the project, and I want you to hear what Ola prepared for us now. So Ola.
Okay, I'm Aleksandra Mykowska. I'm a founder of Fundacja Understanding. This is a Polish institution. We try to help people to understand each other and understand yourself. And we try to help people to feel better in a different holistic ways. In this project, we took a part about being that, third part institution who is doing the evaluation and research. And to check how it's working, this, briefing techniques, we believe that it's working, but we wanted to check how it's working with the refugees and people who help them. Can you put next slide? I did some changes, so I need to, Monika? Okay. So we had, when we planned the research, the evaluation, we had a lot of challenges, a lot of questions. It wasn't easy, and Katrien and Pia know this because we've been discussing many hours how to plan this, because it's huge amount of people, a lot of languages, a lot of different situations, and how to plan this to get the information from all the people. So the first thing, it was how to get the information, what we want, and not make the questionnaires wrong, and how to gather the information from thousands of people possible. So we chose the Microsoft Forms of data collection, and you can try this. It's very nice because you can put in one form many languages. So people at the beginning can choose the language which is the best for them. So if you think about evaluation, this is our recommendation. And of course, we did a lot of desk research, how we should measure the effects, because we didn't want to only ask people how they felt about after the training. Of course, it's important, yes, how they felt, if they like, if they don't like, what they feel they change, but we wanted to measure this objectively. So we choose to use the standardized questionnaires like short post-traumatic stress disorders called SPRINT, what is measuring the PTSD effects. So we use this for the refugees. And for refugees and for, we call it helpers or service providers. I hope nobody will feel offended about the name of helpers, but it's shorter, sorry. So we use DAS scale, the shortest one. It was 12 questions, and it's measured depression, anxiety, and stress symptoms. And this is, the both scales are very known in psychological world. It's are used to do the measurement of the effects even for medicine pills. Like Katrien said, that there are a lot of clinical research comparing taking pills for depression or anxiety and this SKY technique. So in this kind of research also, this kind of questionnaires are used very, very often. We have more difficult challenge because we didn't do this in the laboratory. It wasn't laboratory research, but it was, in the field more. Everything could happen, and a lot of things happened during this research, and we needed to manage this in 5 languages. So we translated all the questionnaires into English, Ukrainian, Russian, Polish, and German. And it was also a big task to check a few times if it's everything correct and so on. Finally, the tools were ready. We started to measure, and it was always a problem with motivating people to fulfill the surveys, also from the trainers' point of view, because they had many things more important than the surveys, and sometimes they maybe forget to ask people because they needed to take care of the people. Yeah, these trainings are incredible with people in very bad conditions. So the most important are the people, not some servers, and we completely understand that. And even we ask, the people were asked participants to fulfill the questionnaires. Not everybody did, but we completely understand, and it's normal in this kind of research. So next slide, please. Okay, so we prepared the measurement for the short programs and for long programs. Longer programs, it was HRE and PC, and maybe you remember, maybe not. HRE was for the refugees, and PC was for the people who help refugees. And it was also some shorter workshops. So the numbers, as you can see, the workshops were the most, the more adults were taking part in this kind of trainings. It was 2,053 people, and all the surveys we managed to gather, it was 414, but it's still a very nice number to make, the recommendation for the future, to make the, some summary and so on. Yeah. Can you put next slide? And in this workshop, at the beginning, it was only the refugees. In the second year of the project, also helpers, service providers could take part. So you can see both groups like the workshops, and they would recommend the workshops to the others who are in the similar situation. Okay, and you already saw these graphs. I'm just showing that that in this group, a lot of people, like 90% people, were saying that they improved some symptoms of the stress. Okay, we can go further. Yeah. Oh, what was interesting? Yes, we check also because some kind of workshops was taken. Can you go back, please? Online and offline, and you can see it will be in the report. We will discuss the results. There is not big changes between here. You have online workshops, and the other graphs it's offline, so stationary. So the method of doing these workshops, it didn't influence the results on the level of how people felt after that. Okay, another program we measure, it was PC program, but just 111 people took part of that. And yeah, we measured this on the 3 stages, and the post-test 3 or 6 weeks after the training was only answered by 20 people. So we are still doing the analysis, but you can see that it's the number of people who were fulfilling the surveys are decreasing, but it's normal. It happens in every research. I was talking with my colleagues from universities, and it's normal situation. Let's go further. Yeah, you can see people also liked and felt the improvement after the post-test, as what was taken just after the training. And the last, what I want to say a little bit longer, it was HRE programs. So for refugees, it was longer. It was 3 or 4 days, 12 hours. 162 people took part. Baseline pretest was fulfilled by 123. Post-test, it was just after finishing the training or day after it was fulfilled by 80 people, and 37 people fulfilled the post-test in the long term, like 3 or 6 weeks later. Okay. You can see that people were generally happy after this program, so we can go further. I don't want to take more time. And you can see that they were feeling much better, yeah? And they were feeling that their symptoms was much better. But what I want to take a little of time of you that we did, go further to the next slide, Monika, please. Thank you. That we did statistically analyzing, and we can prove, because we had also control group. I don't want to go into details. It would be taking too much time now, but comparing to the control groups, people who were taking part in the HRE program, you can see green, were having less PTSD symptoms after the training and after the just after the training, a few weeks after the training, and it was statistically significant, and it's very important from the research point of view. Okay, let's go further. Also, we did the analyzing of the DASS. As you remember, it was depression, stress, anxiety. You can see also it was statistically significant. Go further. In depression also, because it was subscale, stress also, and the last one, anxiety also. And control group didn't have this effects. Control group were doing something also about like stress intervention, but it wasn't efficient, not like the HRE program. So my reflection, general, from our research, of course, it's more detailed in the report, that participants really like it, workshops and programs, and they were feeling different after that. They were feeling more relaxed, they were sleeping better, they were feeling less stressed, less anxious, less depressed. And of course, if people were motivated enough or have the situation in their life that they could manage to practice, they were also keeping the results in their life. Because we saw that the standardized questionnaires, that people really have the difference, yes, in the depressions, PTSD, and so on. So thank you for your attention. And if somebody wants to cooperate with our foundation about doing some kind of research or in another area, you are very welcome. And I hope I didn't talk too long. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ola. I think it's like really important also for our guests here to know that what we have done here is all research based. So I think that this word has already come up at the beginning of the conference. So everything which has happened during those workshops has been measured. So I can confirm, because I was taking part in this PC program myself. So I had to do a survey at the very beginning and then at the very end. And Ola was right. Sometimes people needed reminders to do this, but hey ho. So thank you so much for this. And if anyone has any questions regarding the surveys and like the methodology, I think that Ola will be very happy to answer the questions. You can always write an email and we will forward it to the right person. So you can write in chat. And now, in the sake of time, but I think that we are managing time very well, we'll have a break. So those who need to take some water, go to the toilet, like you can do whatever you want. But we also have one proposal for you. So if you want, we have our lovely Pia here, and she agreed to guide a little energizing exercise as a taster. We'll have something more at the very end of the conference, but now if anyone would like to try a little technique to get some energy after sitting and listening, Pia, please, and thank you.
Thank you, Iwona. Dziękuję. Hello, everyone. My name is Pia. I'm from the project team IAHV Germany, and I thought it would be nice to move our body a little bit after 2 hours of sitting in front of the screen and listening and thinking. So if you would like, you can join me. It's absolutely optional. So if you like to join, I invite you to start shaking the hands a little bit. Yes, maybe also up and to the side, down, and the whole arms, and maybe include the shoulders and the head. Loosen up everything a bit. There is a body extended to the head. Very good. Then I invite you to make with me shoulder rolls, slow and really with full attention. Maybe you can feel a little bit of tension or stiffness somewhere. If that's the case, don't go into the pain. but just do as much as you can do today. And now from the back to the front. Very nice. Now breathe in and let's have our arms up and put the palms together and make yourself as tall as you can. And keep on breathing. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, bend to the left. And keep on breathing and enjoy the tension here on the stretched side. Breathe in again, come back, stretch, and as you breathe out, turn to the right side. One side might be easier than the other. That's quite normal. Keep on breathing. Never hold the breath. And then breathe in, come back to the center, stretch one more time. And as you breathe out, slowly bring down the arms. Loosen up again a bit. Very nice. Then I invite you again to breathe in. And as you breathe out, bring your left ear closer to your left shoulder so you can feel a stretch in the right side of your neck. And again, stay here and keep on breathing. Shoulders should be relaxed. And breathe in, come back with the head to the center, and as you breathe out to the right side. Very often tension is stored in the neck. That helps us to loosen it up a bit. And breathe in, come back to the center. Loosen up the shoulders again. Nice. Now I invite you for a little breathing exercise. Let's breathe in and breathe out through the mouth. Nobody can hear you, so you can really breathe out through the mouth. It releases a lot of stress. Again, breathe in and hold this time the breath. And breathe out through your mouth. Very good. Last time, breathe in and hold. And let go. Nice. Now something for our back. When we are sitting so much, it's not too healthy for our back. So we can do this twist while sitting. This is the good news. Have your left hand on the outside of your right thigh. Your right arm, just have it somewhere on the back of your seat. And then turn gently and look over the right shoulder so you can feel a twist in the back. If it's painful, go back a little bit and keep on breathing. You can close the eyes if you wish. And when you breathe in, come slowly back to the center. Close the eyes for a moment and feel the difference. And now have your right hand on the outside of the left thigh, right arm, right hand somewhere in the back of your seat, and gently turn and look over the left shoulder. And keep on breathing. Slowly come back, breathing in Again, observe for a moment, if it's okay for you, with the eyes closed. How does it feel right now? In comparison to when we started. And whenever you feel ready, you can slowly open the eyes. Okay. How are you feeling? Is it okay? Can only see Mechtit and Olga and Iwona on the camera. Okay.
I was doing the exercises and I feel much better. So thank you very much. But I'm
Great.
sure that some people needed to go to the toilet because, you know, like Maslow knows that some needs are just more important than others. But thank you so much. We still have 1 minute of a break and then we will start with another panel. So 1 more minute.
Okay.
So welcome again. I hope that's majority. So we will be moving on to the next panel, which we have prepared for you guys here. So those who are not speaking, could you mute yourself? And I will invite my colleagues, Jurate, Pia, and Agnieszka, to talk to us about challenges, difficulties, and solutions which they came across while working on this project. So yeah, welcome again, Aga, and we'll have Pia and Jurate. So Agnieszka, could you I was thinking that maybe we'll start with Pia, okay? And then we will see how everything goes. Is it okay? So, oh yeah, we have all of the 3 panelists. So I want to start with Pia, who is Peace of Mind Product Coordinator Germany. And Pia is a psychologist and state-approved trauma counselor. She's a trained peace expert and mediator as well. So I think that she's the right person to talk to us now and share her experience on what she experienced herself as a person coordinating, you know, all of the activities which you have already know and notice are very complex. So Pia, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks, Iwona. Thanks for the introduction. I'm actually a sociologist, not a psychologist. It's fine but important difference. So
maybe it was my pronunciation, so sorry.
So my perspective is really also on social aspects of human behavior. I think this is a very important opportunity to talk about challenges and learnings, because we all know challenges appear in every project. And we heard already several times about challenges. And I think they are very important because we always say we grow when we meet and deal with the challenges. And the challenges are ever more so in a very dynamic context of a conflict context or conflict or war context. Because particularly in conflict context, things are changing quite often, and the change can happen very sudden and unexpected. So over the span of the 2 years of the project, many aspects have actually changed. And many aspects have changed for which we have planned completely differently. And because despite knowledge about the context in Ukraine, about the conditions people were forced to flee, about the conditions under which they, now as refugees in Poland, Lithuania, and Germany, had to start from scratch something new. So never knowing how long it would last. And we heard about some very touching testimonials about these immense challenges people are now living under such a long period of time already. And I would like to mention that just yesterday it was said in the news in Germany that the psychosocial centers in Germany estimate that some 80% of the refugees have lived through experiences which are potentially traumatizing. And at the same time, the waiting time for therapy in Germany is around 2 to 3 years. So this is one of the main challenges where we as a project came in. What I would like to share is, despite the really transformational changes, excuse me, we were able to see very concretely, very practically in every workshop, in every program and professional care course training. You could see it really literally written on the faces, how people were expressing before and after the training. We were facing some structural challenges, and I would like, from the role as a coordinator, I would like to share that with you, because I think it's really relevant for other projects as well. And maybe Jurate and Agni, you can share from your perspective, because we already heard the conditions were quite different in the countries and the regions. We were approaching in Germany refugee camps, and we were approaching the management most of the time before, and that showed to be really important, to have the management of the refugee camps on board before approaching the target group, being refugees. I'm a bit hesitant because it's another label, refugees. I mean, we all know these are human beings with many different roles. And now comes the but. The management and staff of refugee camps, probably not only in Germany, are overloaded when it comes to resources. They are doing overtime. They are underpaid. Contracts are very often for half a year or even less. So there is not much of a perspective for people to stay, to get engaged, committed, to do something in terms of structural changes for staff working at refugee camps, to easen it, to make it easier for them. And there are no financial resources to support professional care programs, for example. So these challenges we were facing a lot in Germany in the refugee camps. People were very open, they were interested, but all too often the trainings did not happen because of these constraints. If people are on board from the management, from the staff, if they are sensitized, if they know what the tools are about, they are completely on board. They can spread the message, they can support the workshops, and they actually did support the workshops. But this is the main challenge, how to bring management of refugee camps to the courses. They take so much advantage from the course, as we were hearing, already. So this could bring benefit to many, many people, for themselves, for the structures, working structures in refugee camps, but also for the refugees themselves. Later we'll come to the learnings for the future. At this point, I would just like to end with a remark on it would be great to reach out to networks of management level of refugee camps. So top-down approach and bottom-up approach at the same time. So it means addressing the management level and the refugees at the same time. So in the best case, they would meet and it could fructify. So that was, I wanted to share with you when it comes to the challenges. How was it for you, Jurate and Agni? I know you had a different working approach.
Yes, please, Jurate.
Yeah. Invitation of people, dissemination of information about possibility to take part in such workshops as we offering was, of course, one of the main issues in this project, as we didn't have such a big finance for dissemination, like, for example, Red Cross or International Organization of Migration. You can't compare. So in Lithuania, this issue we solved in the way that, luckily, I speak Russian language. And now in these 2-3 years, I started to communicate in Ukrainian also. So this helped me to go and to contact directly to Ukrainian organizations and to get in contact with people who work in Red Cross or IAMs who speak Russian or Ukrainian. So this helped. And first, with whom we got in contact was Ukrainian Center in Vilnius, the organization that was established by First Ladies of Ukraine and Lithuania. So they helped us very much at the beginning. And then next was Red Cross, where I met a very good lady, Ina Shulchenko, Ukrainian lady, who also put a lot of efforts to help us. As they had very big information contacts, a lot of contacts of Ukrainians. So she spread information with help of these contacts, and it helped very much. And then when step by step, when the amount of people, Ukrainian people I know increased, there came people and they helped me, simply ladies. They got in contact with such organization, for example, like Schools of Lithuania, that made the camp together of Lithuanian and Ukrainian children and invited children from one Kaunas Ukrainian school, Slava Heroyam. There were 90 children in this camp, and conditions were not so easy. They were staying outside. Okay, it was summertime, but it was cold time days. Children were like cold in the camps, in the tents living, and but when they participated in our program, teachers, psychologists, they were so surprised of the result that children got, even in such a tough conditions in the rain outside, so that they invited us to school, to Kaunas. So that's, and then one more way how we did, simply I myself found contacts. I checked on the newspapers about information, what is going on in Ukrainian society in Lithuania, finding names and then getting in contact with schools, with organizations, and so on. But what I want to say also, what at the beginning there was very much like everybody in Lithuania were willing to help so much that all doors were open. But after 1 year, like organizations decide that they will promote more their own projects like Red Cross or IAM. They were okay to let us be in their premises, but conditions changed after 1 year. So generally, personal contact and of course, the situation, generally situation that everybody helped each other, helped us to overcome this issue of invitation of people. But somehow I would like, and I think that maybe we need to find the way how to promote our organization, International Association of Human Values, and our workshops all over Europe and all over the world. And I understand that this needs a lot of finance. So I wish our organization to get this possibility to find this fundings to promote that what we are doing. Thank you.
Thanks, Jurate. So a very clear message on the differences in Lithuania, but also on that we need to promote more what we are doing actually, because there is definitely an added value we would bring. Agni, how about your experiences in Poland?
Maybe I say shortly, because I had a chance mentioned a few between my previous speeches. So to be honest, there were mixed your experiences. So the first year was really tough for us in Poland, because we, for example, initially we often began collaborations with various groups and organizations, yes. And while the engagement was promising, something after 2 months changed, and we didn't know what, yes. And we were really stressed at that time. And what was the turning point? Personal connection, what you mentioned. Personal connection. When with our beautiful Ukrainian lady, now she's my friend. I hope I am her friend too. Yes, and I started to listen her really carefully. So not our ideas were on the top, but I started to listen her, and what we are doing wrong. And she talked with me a lot, many days. And after that, she told me, okay, I will support you. I would support you. I would like to support you. And started. So in that moment, something really started. And so our camps happened because of her, to be honest. Yes, we on the camps, we had almost 200 children from different cities in Poland. So the camps were the beginning. Yes. After that, we were talking with assistants of these camps. They were also not only Polish but also Ukrainians. And the way which we decided to go was to address to municipality, especially in Wrocław. Yes, the municipality heads, they are really supportive for us. They recommended our programs to the schools. So they sent to all schools in Wrocław. Could you imagine? To all schools in Wrocław, they send an information. We have this kind of project. This is the NGO's organization, and if you would like, you can contact with them. So we didn't wait for this contact, but we went there, yes, to every schools, because they also share with us the numbers, not names, of course, but numbers of Ukrainian children in every schools in Wrocław. So that was the solution that we could start. But we have another beautiful example, and our trainer is here with us because she will join to the panel for a moment in Krakow. Yes, Marzena Przybylska established an amazing cooperation with a few NGOs organizations, but also with municipality. Yes, so probably she will talk a little bit more later. So I don't want to do that now. But what could be the summarizing how it was in Poland, because only 2 cities were defined like, okay, for children, for adults, like for children Wrocław, for adults Krakow. But the other cities were mixed, yes, were mixed, a little bit were mixed. So what was the challenge in the second year? Management of the staff and trainers, because of this different specialization, I can say. But it was much easier than before. The first year.
Challenges, and usually with the people. And now we have, I'm the one who will manage a little bit of change. So Pia has to leave us because she has another meeting. So thank you very much. Thank you for being here, for having this break exercises for us, and for being the panelist. So we'll see you anytime soon. And thank you. Dankeschön. Ciao. Bye.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good luck, everyone.
Okay, so Agnieszka, what do you think? Should we move on to the next panel? Yeah, because there will be some more people, and those people are people of the action. This is how I call them, because they were the one who took initiatives themselves when the times were challenging. So what Agnieszka has said, there were like lots of different issues at the beginning, in the middle, at the end. And luckily, there were always people who stepped up to the challenges. And you will be able to see all of those people here soon. Hello, cześć Marzenko, cześć Ewelina, cześć Ula, hi. We'll have more people. But while they are joining, we have Piotr as well. Hello, Piotr.
Hello.
So I will let you talk, because you are the people who have lots of experience, and thank you for being eager to share with our guests today. So should we start with Marzena? Yes, yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, and why you were so successful in Krakow, and why did you manage to have so many successful workshops, and like what did you do? So Marzenka, thank you. Can you unmute yourself? Just checking the microphone. Yes, first unmute yourself. And I just wanted to say that Marzenka is on holidays, and she kindly agreed to appear and to share with us. So thank you even more.
Thank you. I am Marzena. Now I am sorry, but I try to speak English. It is not my English is not my my strong side.
Very well.
But
so I just wanted to say that
on vacation, I am on vacation because I try to say on vacances in French, but my second language is French, so now I try to speak English. Okay. So what may I say about my experience? I can say that for me it was a really amazing year. 1 year, 2 years, yeah. But second year it was like Agni mentioned that it was really hard to have contact with people. With Ukrainian people, with refugees, yeah. But I visited many centers, many organizations, but they weren't interested in cooperation in the mind health of people. Yeah, for them the most important was to provide material help. Yeah, so apartments, yeah, flats or something like that. Works. It was the most important, not mental health. Yeah. So, but and I was looking for someone who can help me, and I found two amazing girls, and they were my translators. Olena Kachatarian and Anastasia Antilova. So they helped me a lot. They were really involved in this task to gain people, to invite people to our courses, and also to be in really warm contact with them. Yeah. So and the Ukrainian people, they feel also better when they were with someone who speaks their language. Even they understand Polish, they prefer to be with someone who speak Ukrainian. Yeah. So they engaged really jakby to powiedzieć, moc in the strong. Really, they were really engaged, yeah. And then we started to call to organization, to foundation, and at the beginning it was the foundation Wolno Nam, yeah. I don't know how to translate this name, and then we found Zustycz organization. It was something amazing because it was Polish-Ukrainian organization. So they cooperate in this organization one nation with another one. Ukrainian and Polish, yeah, people, they worked together. It was for I noticed that it's better to cooperate with people who are already in with one step in our society. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for us it was and they gave us venue. They informed people by internet, by Facebook. Yeah. So and the people started to come, and they like to come to our classes because the classes were we didn't treat them like refugees, but we treated them like regular people, like regular women who want to develop, who want, like in Poland, yeah, we want to develop. We would like to find some tool to deal with our stress. So for them, no one wants to be treated as someone who is weak or unhappy, etc. Yeah. So this is the way in which we contacted with them, yeah, with them, yeah. So, and I can say that our translators were, I don't know whether they took care of them, yeah. They were really warm in the warm way. They talk to them, yeah. So it was a really nice experience. And I told that we didn't speak about some traumas, nothing of that. Yeah, I told him always that all your problems you leave outside. Yeah, you come to this space where you can find calm, peace, yeah, and the space where you are only for yourself, not for your family, not for others, yeah. You are this space only for yourself, and they and then our techniques, breathing techniques, etc. They worked a lot, you know that, yeah, that it works, but to attract people and to want them to stay with us, it was that they were treated as strong human, yeah. So so they wanted to come, and then the space in Zustrich was too small. So the Zustrich found us the bigger place in Kraków, and they contact us to act there. It was also and bigger space, more people come. So we had to do 2 groups, and then we have also one group on PAL. This is PAL. This is Program Aktywności Lokalnej. In English, it is program of local activities. Yeah. So
yes, Marzenko, because we have some issues with the connection, because you are dialing in from Madeira, so it's far away, and we have issues with connection. And we know that you could talk a lot, same as I could talk a lot. So I'm just thinking that we'll sum up at the end. But I would like to move to Ola, because we also don't have a lot of time left.
Okay.
But if anyone would like to ask questions, Marzenka, I'm sure that she would be happy to answer any other questions. So if someone wants to ask some more specific questions, you can always write a question in the chat, and then we will forward the question. So I'm sure that Marzenka, you will be available for answers. Yes, if somebody has some more.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the focus. Yeah, for your
thank you, and thank you for being here and for sharing. We really appreciate. So Ola, could you tell us now about your experiences from the project?
Yes, with pleasure. I welcome to all, especially to the intercultural assistants who joined the meeting in large numbers today. I'm not sure if you know this position, intercultural assistants, but if not, I'm sure you have to know who this person is. I will speak in Polish, and in this way, I will take care of my well-being today. But also in this way, I will appreciate the formula meeting, which includes all languages. We can speak in the language of our choice and understand each language thanks to translation. So now I will speak into Polish.
Okay, so I will translate it later at the end, okay? I will try to translate you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't, but I will, for those who don't speak Polish, okay? So I will try to translate.
Okay. I was sure we have translation all the time, but not.
Yes, we have. However, we would have to switch, and people have to change the channels. And at the end of the conference, I'm sure that everybody's tired, and it will be more complicated to manage technology than just to, use the power of people. So this is what
Okay, but you can manage. We can manage. Okay. Jestem związana z Fundacją Wspierania Kultury i Języka Polskiego imienia Mikołaja Reja, która nie tylko w czasie wojny, ale wiele lat wcześniej zajmowała się edukacją w warunkach wielokulturowości i wielojęzyczności.
So Ola is our expert on Polish language. She works for the foundation which in the middle has the language as a tool of communication. And also because of this, she has chosen a Polish language to talk to us in. So so I'm the one translating.
Zajmujemy się edukacją i to jest pierwsza warstwa, pierwszy punkt naszej działalności, ale w drugiej warstwie mamy przecież ciągle na uwadze, że do szkoły chodzimy po to, żeby się rozwijać, a rozwijać możemy się tylko wtedy, kiedy żyjemy w pewnego rodzaju dobrostanie.
So our number one focus of our organization is education. However, we are also aware that to be able to develop ourselves and to grow and to learn, we need particular circumstances and we need to live in well-being to be able to grow and to educate ourselves.
Tworzenie środowiska dobrego, bezpiecznego do rozwoju jest bardzo trudnym zadaniem dorosłych, wtedy kiedy myślimy o dzieciach.
Being able to set up favorable conditions for our children to develop themselves and to grow is quite a challenging task for parents and adults.
I wiele naszych aktywności, wiele naszych działań to są działania, których celem jest uświadomienie dorosłym, że oni tworzą dobry albo zły świat do rozwoju swoich podopiecznych. Kiedy mówię dorośli, mam na myśli nie tylko nauczycieli, ale także rodziców.
So our aim and what we want to do is to make the adults, like the parents, the teachers, aware that it's their responsibility to set up those circumstances where children can really learn and develop themselves.
Dlatego, kiedy mówimy o szkole, musimy myśleć o bardzo zróżnicowanej społeczności, którą tworzą uczennice, uczniowie, nauczyciele, nauczycielki, ale także rodzice.
So when we talk about school, it's quite like a complex term. So it includes not only pupils, but also the teachers, and we also talk about parents. So we think about school on a very diverse and inclusive level.
W czasie wojny zdaliśmy sobie sprawę z tego, że pod słowem rodzice występuje najczęściej tylko matka.
So during the war, we realized that when we use the term parents, sometimes and very often in our case, it meant that the parent is a single parent who is a mother.
A to oczywiście dotyczy dzieci z doświadczeniem uchodźstwa, ale to też zmienia dynamikę środowiska edukacyjnego.
So of course, these realizations come from the families with the experience of war and refugees families, but this plays quite an important role. It's an important factor.
Kiedy myślimy o wpływie szkoły na dobrostan dzieci, musimy też myśleć o dobrostanie nauczycieli i dobrostanie rodziców, bo to jest tego rodzaju stan, ten dobrostan, którego nie da się pielęgnować i rozwijać indywidualnie. To jest parametr społeczny.
So when we talk about this well-being, in Polish there is this play of words, dobrostan, so the well-being of different parts of different people and groups. So we have to include there not only the well-being of a pupil, but also of the parents and like everybody involved. So there is like the it's like a quite a inclusive concept. So the it's not only the pupil, but the teachers, the parents, and like everybody who is involved and who is a stakeholder in a way of a child.
A więc nie wierzcie nikomu, kto mówi, żyję w dobrostanie, wszystko w moim psychospołecznym świecie jest ok, jeśli dookoła tej osoby nic nie jest ok. Well-being to parametr społeczny i nie jest przypisany do jednostki, chociaż jednostka odczuwa dobrostan jako wartość własną.
So well-being is a social concept. It's not like a personal concept. So don't get yourself tricked when somebody says that, yeah, they are in a well-being and they are fine, like answering the question, if you are fine, I'm fine. If you see that they're surrounded by circumstances which are not fine. So well-being has to always be seen and understood on the social level as well.
I co jest ważne dla dobrostanu w środowisku szkolnym? Oczywiście to jest bardziej uniwersalne i możemy to rozszerzyć na inne społeczności niż tylko szkolną, ale ja dzisiaj skupię się na tej szkolnej. 4 elementy.
Mm-hmm. So what is important when we talk about this concept, and like of course I would talk like more, but now I want to just to focus on this school environment, and there will be like 4 factors, 4 elements.
Pierwszy element to jest włączenie, które daje nam poczucie przynależności.
So first is inclusion, which gives us this feeling of being a part of something, of belonging.
Drugi element to widoczność. Widoczność osoby, ale także jej świata wartości, jej kultury, jej języka, a czasami także religii.
So the second one is like this visibility of a person, like on different levels, like, you know, like the visibility of the religion of the person, of their like different qualities, which we can talk about here.
Kolejnym elementem jest wzmocnienie. A w sytuacji migracji bardzo często tutaj należy myśleć o wzmocnieniu kompetencji językowych, a potem również komunikacyjnych całego środowiska, a więc nie tylko uczniów migranckich, ale także środowiska przyjmującego, zwłaszcza jeśli idzie o wzmocnienie w zakresie kompetencji międzykulturowych.
So the next one is what we call empowerment. So it would be this like giving some, you know, a person this strength and like giving this message that they are, you know, like good enough, strong enough. So the empowerment on also like lots of different levels.
I ostatni element możliwy do realizacji, jeśli przejdziemy te 3 pierwsze elementy, to jest współpraca, do której trzeba poczucia bezpieczeństwa, trzeba określonych kompetencji i otwartości obustronnej.
Mm-hmm. And the next one is cooperation, but this like the 4th factor can only happen if, you know, like the rest happens. So you cannot like cooperate and communicate well if a person does not feel secure. So the 4th is very important, but all of the 3 has to happen before.
I taką szkołę w Krakowie chcemy tworzyć, co nie jest łatwe, bo wychodzimy z systemu, który był monokulturowy, monojęzyczny i transformujemy ten system w system wielokulturowy i wielojęzyczny, ale jest kilka takich inicjatyw w Krakowie, o których chcę powiedzieć, które wspierają tą transformację.
Mm-hmm. So this is what actually we aim for in Krakow. But it's not an easy task because we are starting from a very like monocultural, monolinguistic model. So like Polish being the like one language for like in this case, but we know what we want to do and we know like what we want to achieve. So yeah, this is why we do this.
A głównym podmiotem, ważnym aktorem tego procesu jest asystentka międzykulturowa, asystent międzykulturowy.
So a very important person in this process is a cultural assistant, like intercultural assistant.
Który pracuje nie tylko w szkole, ale też w innych instytucjach. W Krakowie jest to na przykład Centrum Informacji Edukacyjnej dla dzieci z doświadczeniem migracji, Centrum Edukacyjno-Terapeutyczne, Słoneczna Przestrzeń Wsparcia i Centrum Wielokulturowe.
Okay, so this person does not only work with school, but like works on like with lots of different organizations. And Urszula has mentioned some particular organizations in Krakow. I haven't managed to remember all of them, but they are, you know, like connected with culture and
education, integration, language, and etc. To są relatywnie nowe organizacje, nowe instytucje, które powstały, bo zidentyfikowano potrzeby określonego typu.
And those institutions are pretty new, so they have developed because certain needs for change were identified. So yeah, so this is why it's still like work in progress. So
Inną formułą, którą wdrażamy w Krakowie i są to pierwsze jej kroki, jest zatrudnianie w szkołach osób z doświadczeniem migracji cudzoziemskich, tak aby struktura społeczności osób dorosłych odbijała się w lustrze struktury uczniów i uczennic. I są to nie tylko asystenci międzykulturowi, ale coraz częściej nauczyciele i nauczycielki.
So what is important that we want a person like we make sure that there is a person who has this migration experience being employed, because we see that it's very important that, you know, the structure of employment also reflects the needs. So if we have the group of people of children with different cultural experience, we also have to have a teacher who has different cultural experience to be able to match the needs.
Fundacja REA zainicjowała też nowy projekt w ostatnim czasie, bo szkoła jest świetną przestrzenią włączającą, która, jeśli będzie otwarta, może wprowadzić duże zmiany w koncepcję integracji i inkluzji. Dzięki programowi, który nazwaliśmy Language Shadowing. Do społeczności szkolnej przyjmujemy osobę, która nie zna języka polskiego i która w totalnej imersji językowo-kulturowej może zostać włączona w działania edukacyjne.
So Ray Foundation has also set up this new role for learning a language, because they found out that there will be and there are people like pupils who do not speak Polish, and they have to learn Polish because they're in this environment. So they found a way how to do this, how to create an inclusive surrounding, and how to help a child by immersion, like using the immersion method, how to help the child to learn the language and to be able to play an active role in education.
Takie małe projekty mogą być początkiem dużych zmian, bo pokazują, że każdy z nas może mieć pozytywny wpływ, tworzyć bezpieczne i dobrostanowe środowisko, wzmacniające rozwój.
So it may seem that it's just like a little thing, but it just like show us that this like concept can be used like in different things as well. It's just like the approach which is important to create a empowering environment and to help pupils to grow.
Ten sygnał, że jesteś w bezpiecznym miejscu, w bezpiecznym środowisku, ważny jest dla każdego. Z naszych doświadczeń wynika, że w szczególności dla dzieci z doświadczeniem, dzieci z niepełnosprawnością i ich rodziców, ich rodziny.
And the signal that you're like important is very like it's powerful, and what we have noticed that is especially important for children with some disabilities and also for the parents of those children.
Ponieważ to są duże wyzwania, potrzebujemy w tym współpracy międzysektorowej. W Krakowie sprawdziła się współpraca NGO-sów ze strukturami samorządowymi, dzięki której powstało Centrum Edukacyjno-Terapeutyczne w formule integracyjnej, inkluzyjnej, ale inspirowane potrzebami dzieci uchodźczych z niepełnosprawnościami.
So as you can imagine, this is a very complex and challenging task because there are challenges on like so many different levels. And what is needed here is cooperation. So what we have noticed that cooperation between NGOs and municipalities is the way forward. And this is what we actually doing in Krakow. So we are doing something new, and this is, and actually it works, but the only condition, like the condition which has to be met, is the cooperation.
Dlaczego o tym mówię i w jakich warunkach albo co sprzyja takiej kooperacji? Pewnie wiecie, że nie mamy ogólnokrajowej polityki migracyjnej. Z trudem rodzimy ją od 8 co najmniej lat i nie mamy rezultatu. Dlatego tak ważne są lokalne polityki włączające. W przypadku Krakowa to jest program Otwarty Kraków.
As you may imagine, it's a challenging task because we don't have this, like national policy, and we have to do it on a very local level, which means that there is like a lot of energy which has to go into this. But we've seen that this is at this moment where we are, this is like the only way to do this.
I ostatnia, ale nie znaczy, że mało istotna kwestia. Program Otwarty Kraków jest do znalezienia w internecie. Tak przy okazji, po angielsku się będzie nazywał oczywiście Open Kraków. Istnieje też w języku ukraińskim, pewnie jako Відкритий Kraków, i w języku rosyjskim Открытый Kraków albo coś takiego. Natomiast to są programy, to są działania, które mają dawać sygnał, jesteś w bezpiecznym miejscu, mają dawać poczucie bezpieczeństwa.
So Urszula has already used a few languages, so you can Google the term Open Kraków or Otwarty Kraków, and you can find some information about our initiatives and what we at the moment do in Krakow.
I te programy i takie działania mają budować poczucie bezpieczeństwa, co chcę podkreślić, wszystkich, nie tylko migrantów, uchodźców, ale także społeczności lokalnej.
So those programs have as a basis the safety, like making sure that people feel safe and like different people on different levels.
I to poczucie bezpieczeństwa jest absolutnym fundamentem wszystkich koncepcji well-beingowych, dobrostanowych. Jednak należy...
And this safety is like a cornerstone. It's like the basis of anything which we want to develop when it comes to well-being of a person, of people.
Jednak należy pamiętać, że jesteśmy zobowiązani do definiowania poczucia bezpieczeństwa z perspektywy danej osoby, danej grupy.
And also what is very important that when we define this term safety, we have to take into consideration like a particular person. So it's not like a general safety term. We have to bear in mind that this is the definition which will be used for a particular person.
Jest oczywiste, że Polska jest krajem bezpiecznym, jest środowiskiem wolnym od wojny, ale to nie oznacza, że daje wszystkim takie samo poczucie bezpieczeństwa, dlatego że ten stan poczucia bezpieczeństwa zależy również od realiów, których tutaj nie widzimy, od utraconych relacji, od obciążenia psychicznego wojną, która się dzieje w moim rodzinnym kraju, jeśli jestem uchodźcą. I dlatego tak chciałam uwrażliwić na ten temat.
So I just want to give you this example because like from the first side, like the first impression is that, you know, like in Poland there is no war, yeah? So you can think that, yeah, it's just like a safe country. However, when you think from a personal perspective of a person living in Poland, so you can have a person who has already lost family, who has to change countries and is in Poland, so it's in a safety space. However, her or his personal experience is different. So this person is not like experiencing safety.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Thank you very much. Dziękuję, Ula. So can we, yeah, it has been really moving, I think, and it resonates with me personally because I'm a mother of an autistic child. So when you talk about children with disabilities, you know, I'm Polish, but I used to live in the UK for some time, and coming back to Poland, I have to say that I experienced a cultural shock at the very beginning, but because my child was born in the UK, and it's like a different cultural space. So when you talk about safety and how safe people feel, I had to say that at the beginning, I did not feel safe. So this is just, but yeah, it's just like my personal experience. So thank you for saying this, because I think that diversity and inclusion are so important, and it's very important to understand it well from a perspective of a person. So thank you, Ula, for sharing. Can we move on to Ewelina? Ewelina, can you share your experiences and talk us like what you saw, what you did, what you experienced?
Okay. Hello. Good morning. Do you hear me? It's okay. So as we don't have much time, I will be brief. Okay. So few words about me. My name is Ewelina, and since the beginning of the war, I've been involved in aid in Poland and also in Ukraine. I helped at the beginning at the border, and then together with my friends, we organized aid and took it to the frontline areas. In Poland, I cooperate. I work with Foundation Understanding, and in the Peace of Mind project, I was involved together with Marzena Przybylska in the recruitment of adults, yeah, for the workshop. And supporting refugees bring many challenges. Even then, it was not easy, like Marzenka said, despite the fact that we had access to refugees, you know, through the centers where refugees lived, yeah, aid centers and foundation that help refugees. And it was really a huge challenge for numbers of reasons, like, I don't know, fear of unknown, shame, mentality, religion and beliefs, yeah? So about currently challenges, sorry, it seems that it should be easier, but in my opinion, it won't be so easy. And why? The main reason is just a life. It's simply the life of migrant and the priorities of everyday life. And displaced person, especially single women, because husbands stay in Ukraine, so often have to face daily problems, of supporting themselves and their families. So they have more than I don't know, one job or underqualified jobs, financial stress, high cost of living in Poland, instability. So it make them, it make like the time and energy to participate in such a program, What else? I know plenty of women. I know plenty of women from my neighborhood, educated, who had a very good life in Ukraine, good job, but it was before the war. Now it's much harder. What else about older generation? I mean, 60 people, 60 plus, living with their families. They still don't speak the language. It's hard to get them out of the house. There is such a challenge for foundation, like to cooperate, to work with those people, and involve them in any activities. What else? They don't. In addition, maybe some displaced people may still feel ashamed or feared the stigma associated with the trauma. They don't want to talk openly about their experience or participate in activities that may in some way release their emotions. So it seems like difficult for people who are living every day and like grit their teeth and function in their new reality. So so it's my opinion that it won't be easier, and as Agnieszka Lintowska, Pia, and said that promotion is important, but it's very important. But second question is how to convince people to participate in workshops. So thank you.
Thank you, Ewelina. Yes, I think that's the words challenging and difficult has appeared like quite a few times during this conference. And yes, this is not easy because the the whole concept is not easy because people are not easy. They're complex and they have different experiences. So it will never be easy.
But one, can I say something? One, what good thing at the end of my speech, because I've been watching the chat, since the conference started, and I see that many people are interested in this program, So it sounds really good, and I keep my finger crossed that that we can still continue our program and our job. Thank you.
Yes, this is the intention, mine as well. So thank you, Ewelina. Thank you very much. And now, last but not least, Piotr Toczycki. And Piotr, can you introduce yourself and tell us about your experience in this project and your learnings, what you've noticed, and thank you for this.
My name is Piotr Toczycki, and I'm part of the sister project, because you can remember that there were 4 projects in the beginning that were called EU for Health projects, focused on mental health support and psychosocial support for people with the experience of displacement from Ukraine. One of them was peace of mind and strength of heart, but another one was Well-You, focused on some tools from WHO. Another one was URISE, focused on the same tools, but in different countries, the tools which interagency standing committees using the United Nations system. And the last one is named MEZUR, Mental Health Support for Ukrainian Refugees. It's focused on the tool which is called I Fight Depression, this digital mental health tool that's clinically tested. It's quite popular in several countries thanks to the grant from third EU health program, which preceded the EU for Health. And we were already quite busy with building local alliances against depression and delivering this digital mental health tool. I will paste you a link to the tool if you like. You can see what it's like. And we spent past 2 years from the end of 22 till the end of 24 on wide distribution and making this tool part of the official refugee response plan. That's quite an important achievement. So my work was with institutions rather than with final beneficiaries, with people. I was working with institutions, psychologists, psychotherapists, medical doctors, those who approach patients and clients, not with patients and clients themselves. And my experience is very positive in terms of what you actually need to be is being kind of the golden standard for them. So it takes time building those relationships. It requires attending conferences, traveling usually to the institutions, not spending time on Zoom. So when, for example, I visit Krakow, I have like 4 trainings in 2 days, one in the morning, another one in the afternoon, and another day the same. So I'm visiting, let's say, Nowa Huta, where UNHCR built so-called refugee meeting point. I visit so-called intercultural center close to the main railway station and so on. So my focus is on being where possible. In the north of Poland, I visited so-called Spilno, built by UNICEF. And in Rzeszów, close to Ukrainian border, we had like 4-day so-called tour Depresja, the tour about depression. So we were visiting 4 small villages one by one, or small towns one by one every day. All those social welfare and public healthcare institutes. Of course, those study tours are planned in advance. We don't knock into people's door and don't say, hello, we are here from EU for Health program project. We arrange it beforehand, and it takes time and requires attending a lot of meetings, conferences, and so on. But later, those projects are quite long. It's 24 months. It's a long time to build a good position in this field. Later, we start being approached. Like after 1 year, they started knocking on our doors and asking us, can you come here and there with your presentation, lecture, workshop for psychologists and so on. We of course took some effort to get Polish Psychological Society engaged. Maybe it was not very difficult because I'm a board member of the local branch of this institution, but it also requires some acceptance from the colleagues, a lot of explanations and so on, because not everyone believes in digital mental health and not everyone believes in so-called community-based interventions and basically in interventions focused on refugee situations. So there are a lot of objections, a lot of stereotypes with which you have to work, to which you have to respond. So it's kind of public relations. Apart from being the trainer, you have to become a little bit of a public person and be ready to answer all the difficult questions. And this way, we achieved our goal. In Poland alone, we had more than 50 trainings. We had a lot of public media presence. We spent some effort on building press releases. Like I was working in Poland, but also in several other countries as a work package leader. So, for example, in Bulgaria, we arranged television presence of our colleagues doing the same thing, like they were in the prime time in Bulgarian television talking about their work. In Hungary, we arranged it in the radio stations and other news media. In Greece, the same. So that work is kind of a full-time work on which you have to spend a lot of effort and be ready to attend, sometimes even on a very short notice. For example, I was called by a colleague from WHO, like, look, tomorrow in the Ministry of Health in Warsaw, we have a meeting. You might be interested that will be focused on WHO tools. I forgot to tell you earlier, and so on. So responding positively to all those invitations is very important. And this way we became part of the official refugee response plan, which opened a lot of new doors. For example, IOM approached us to build a so-called MHPSS training course for psychologists. So we did it in our university called Maria Grzegorzewska University in Warsaw. Like we invited a lot of psychologists there who spent 4 months on the training on how to be good mental health and psychosocial support practitioner according to International Organization for Migration standards, which are part of the Interagency Standing Committee. So it's kind of United Nations system. So our approach is both being close to the catalog of the best practice of the European Commission and to United Nations system. The systems are to a certain point synergized and co-working. So it's not being in 2 parallel worlds. It's being in one world, but remembering about all the stakeholders. And this way, this work was really a pleasure, I would say. Of course, beginnings are always difficult because you have to explain why are you now currently in the field of the migration and refugees, where a lot of organizations exist, a lot of institutions exist. They may see you as a competitor at first, but when you explain that you are well funded and you don't need anything from them, you want to give them something, that changes a lot. So that's what I can tell about my work and how I regarded it. It was a really good 24 months, and it's very sustainable because we are part of this official refugee response plan of the UNHCR for the next 2 years in Poland. So we made it, and yes, if you want to cooperate, just email me and we can move it forward. I will put my email here as well. Thank you.
Yes, please do, please do. And Piotr, I'm very happy that I didn't have to translate you because you talk so fast that yes, I wouldn't be able. So I'm happy it wasn't me. But
I hope the subtitles managed this.
Me too, me too. So I'm happy that I can speak English. But yeah, maybe this is a very good motivator for other people to speak languages because as we have also noticed in this project that languages are very important. So I'm also planning to learn some other languages apart from those which I speak at the moment because Russian is a very important language. This is like my realization from the project. But I wanted to thank you for what you said because it's true that this is like a full-time job, and I think that it's even not like full-time. It's like a few times. It's like a job like when you want to do it properly, and if you want to help people, like one person cannot manage because time is the same for everybody, and we only have 24 hours a day, and we have to sleep, which is very important as well because in our workshops this is what we teach, that like sleeping is very important. So I hope, Piotr, that you have taken part in this workshop as well, and you know that it's important to sleep 8 hours, sorry. Yeah, so thank you for sharing this because I also want to highlight what you said, that positivity is very important. And what is important is to be available if the need comes up, because this time we live only here and now. So if there are some opportunities coming up, we have to address them because otherwise the time, it's like another second of life for somebody else. So yeah, so I think that what you said in a way reflects also the findings of this project, but I will let Agnieszka, who is the director of the project, to sum it up for us again. But thank you, my lovely panelists, and I will ask Agnieszka to sum up the conference because we are running late, but we didn't want to speed people up because these are very important things which we are discussing here. So Agnieszka, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. I am really glad that we can meet together and discuss this kind of subject, and to see how many people is going to the same direction is amazing for me. It's still really, really amazing for me. So as we conclude this insightful conference, I invite each of you to take a moment to reflect on the powerful ideas and perspectives we have shared today. Because together we can more. It is like you know, sometimes it is like artificial something what we can say, but not. It is not artificial. It is true. It is really true. If we stand together to find the solution, how to resolve, how to find the solutions in a difficult circumstances, we will go through. It is really the power is is in the team, in the if we are together. It is really nobody cannot stop us. And so I don't want to share more because we are all the time, and I am really happy that so many people are here and so many people shared so many meaningful ideas. And so thank you very much for your attention, for your time, for your engagement, for your dedication to the humanity, to be honest. Yeah, this dedication to the humanity. So that's the point. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. And okay.
Thank you, Agnieszka. And once again, on behalf of the whole project team, which is like really big, and not everybody had a chance to be here because this conference would take a few days, I think, if everyone was to share the experiences. I want to thank you, and just like some admin, if you have any questions, like you can contact us. So in the chat, there were like a few times we gave the emails, and there is also the web page. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on LinkedIn. And if you want to cooperate, we really need people who want to cooperate, because we want to take this project further outside of the European Union grant. So please be in touch. And we have a little surprise, or yeah, like a suggestion. If anyone from people here have time, we prepared a taster session of some of our workshops. And Beata Zbiegiem, who is a psychologist and psychotherapist and also a trainer of breathing techniques, she will be leading this workshop, and I will be translating into Polish. Sorry, but I need a break because I've talked a lot. So we would need a 5-minute break, okay? And then I will move to a different room, and then Beata will be will show you some of the techniques. I think that it will be like 20-25 minutes. If somebody cannot join us, you can send an email and we will try to record the session. So we'll send you a video. So those who can join, like give us 5 minutes so that we reorganize, and then we can start. And if you cannot join, we'll send you a video if you would like. So please email us, or yeah, there are like lots of different communication channels. So use any of them, and we'll make sure that you will receive the video. So thank you very much again. Thank you everybody for coming in. Thank you all for all of the panelists, for all of the speakers, everybody who wanted to come, who gave their time. We really appreciate. Thanks a lot, and hopefully keep in touch.